So we're going to talk about a very specific part of the buying journey, which is when a prospect lands on your website, and sort of what you can do with that. So first off, right, our websites, it's a digital world, so we think of them as a storefront, but it's actually the whole store. It's actually how they interact with you pretty much nonstop. So what about the fact that you only know something about 3% of it, right? That means 97% of all of the foot traffic through your store you know nothing about. That's wild. Good thing there's identity providers out there like us. We did it. Yep, we can just go home now. And it's really cool because we can tell you, right, what kinds of companies visit the website, what are they interested in, what kinds of jobs do they have, right? And that's great, right? That's sort of table stakes though today because imagine right now if I would just go tell my boss wherever he is, like, hey boss, our prospect came to the website yesterday. Like a few years ago, I might have gotten a high five. Probably not anymore, right? Because we need to do something with that. We can't waste any opportunity to interact with our customers, our prospects. And this is not just for brands, this is publishers too, right? You need to really think about, right, all of this interaction. So because of that, our wonderful chief technology officer and our whole product team has developed, again, my favorite thing that we've developed, which is visitor insights with real-time capabilities.
Thank you, Chalet. Let's talk about this new capability. As a lot of you probably know, Bombora has always provided a visitor insights feed, which included a lot of information about people who visited your website if you have our tag up, but that has been a bulk data feed, and it's been just a data feed, which means A, it's primarily useful for retrospective analysis, and B, it's a little hard, right, to get from a gigantic data feed to the kind of insights that you want. So what did we do? We did two things. One, we made it real time. And second, we built visualizations and insights for it. So what does this enable, right? Because you now can get the visitor insights data about visitors essentially immediately, it opens up a lot of opportunities to tune your visitors' experiences as they interact with your content. A number of things we do here. We integrate with the popular CDPs so that you can deliver real-time audience segments if you want. Knowing your visitor attributes enables you to enable personalization, personalized chatbots, any kind of unique to the visitor experience you want to provide on your website. This isn't quite as real-time, but integrating with Google Analytics allows the use of these attributes in your SEM campaigns, which can improve the cost effectiveness and general effectiveness of those campaigns. And lastly, these attributes can help inform your programmatic advertising capabilities at impression time, whether you want to use that for retargeting or just to improve your CPMs. Now, Bombora's is the only solution that provides all of these attributes. We provide sort of the industry standard firmographic, demographic attributes, the things that you'd expect. We also provide unique things such as visitor interest. These are topics that this particular visitor is actually showing interest on, distinct from company search, but still very interesting. The other thing you can do is integrate this in with other aspects of the Bombora offering so that you can combine and create a custom segment that specifies certain topics and certain companies that you are interested in, so you can actually know when someone who's in the market that you care about is on your site and take appropriate action. This also lets you, if you want to, integrate our company surge data with your first-party data systems because all that information is available there on the page for you. So, a few of the technical details. I mean, as you all know, response time is critical for your site. If people sit there waiting for the page, they bounce. So what we've built is a globally distributed edge service that returns information for the first visit by a given visitor in less than 100 milliseconds, so it's not going to slow you down. Subsequent page views by the same visitor are essentially instantaneous because we're just doing a lookup there. We say 10 milliseconds because, you know, we want to be conservative. And interestingly, we resolve between 24 to 38% for companies when our understanding of what's sort of common out there is more like 20. So we do a pretty good job of resolving the company specifically for B2B visitors. But in terms of being able to make some interesting statement about a visitor at all, we're able to say something about them about 80% of the time, which is quite high, and I think a testament to the work that a lot of people at Bombora have really done on B2B identity. We've spent a lot of time and effort on that. And what does this do? It allows you to tailor the visitor experience in real time in any way that you choose. Lastly, it's pretty straightforward to implement. You have to place the tag on your page. We provide some boilerplate JavaScript, kind of a different snippet for each of the commonly used platforms we integrate with. You just need to fill out some things unique to your account, and there you go. So if you've set up Google Analytics on a page, it's sort of an analogous process. And we're interested to know, as more and more of our customers adopt this, do we need to make it easier? Do we need to make it sort of completely self-serve? We're interested in hearing your feedback. But so far, we think it's pretty straightforward. And, one of the interesting sort of side effects of this is we've seen at least one customer actually treat Bombora as their primary first-party data source and not implement such a thing on their own. So hopefully that saves you one more system to deal with. Sort of last on just the technology side, here are a couple of examples, screenshots of real customer implementations. You've got treasure data on the left, which is a little more brand-oriented, and that's GAM on the right. We all know GAM. So I bet you're curious what you can see and learn about this system. So let's turn it over to Chalet again.
Awesome.
For the cool stuff.
The cool stuff. So a lot of times when I talk to publishers and more like brands, but usually publishers too, they'll be concerned about, do I have enough data on my site, right? I have a really small site. So I'm actually showing you Bombora's data. So we have 180,000 page views in the last 3 months. So congratulations to us. You can do this with a small site. In that 180,000 page views, there's 16,000 companies that we can see to our site. So let's just imagine, right? We know that there's pipeline in there. Imagine instead of just telling my boss, hey, prospect came yesterday, boss, we can try to find, make 10% of that somewhere in the pipeline, right? That's huge. That's meaningful. So, right, the first part of the analytics feed is just to see, right, overall site traffic. Now let's start to zero in on the companies. And so now I can tell, again, look, there's some people here. I can tell my boss, hey, look, one of our big partners is on the site a lot, Siemens, that's fantastic. But as a marketer, what do I do now, right? I just get to tell my boss that and do anything now, especially if I'm trying to figure out some sort of automated system to actually do something like site personalization. So how do I get started? Right, and this can feel really daunting, right? We can think about how many, right, 392 attributes, 13,000 intent topics. What do I do now? I'm stressed, and I just want dessert. So let's try to make this easy. First off, why don't we just have one really simple segment? How many companies are in market or not? And that's the only segment. Right? So that's the only thing you need to do to enable site personalization is just one filter for in market versus not, and just treat them differently. Right? So when they come to the site, think about what puts your best foot forward when you're in the store. Right? What is the product that I want them to be looking at? So that's really easy. Segment 1. And then once I get that nailed down, let's go to segment 2. Why don't we actually acknowledge that there's a research journey? And let's think about how can I best segment the ones in market. So if they're at the bottom funnel, they're in depth in research, I should make sure that the content that I'm surfacing to them is right. It shows how I stand out against competitors or how I work with specific partners, right? Because they're ready to buy. They're thinking about those final requirements, as opposed to the ones early in research where I have to just spell out what intent data means. Right? Those are two completely different experiences that all you have to do, right, is just, it's really, really simple. You don't have to overthink this stuff. But if you want to overthink it, which I'm sure a lot of us do, we can also do this. This is something we heard our friend at Siemens talk about, right? This micro-targeting. We can do that on the site traffic, even on a small site like Bombora's. We can target not just where are they in that research stage, right? That was our second segment, but let's also add in what topic are they researching? And I want to make sure that my collateral matches that. What about an actual one-to-one? When Siemens comes, I want them to see this specific thing. That's all possible. That's all within the data. That can all be engineered directly into systems you already use, like Google Analytics, and then power your SEM from there, or into a CDP. And instead of the CDP relying on historical data and then assuming that that Siemens will come back to visit again, you can use this in real time. So it really is a huge capability advancement that we have, and I'm very excited about it. And that actually wraps up my demo. I went very quickly.
Thanks so much.